You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
응답하라 여친. Go to the into the she.
Back to the count to the Jew. Hey. How are you, Jane?
I'm good. Yes. I'm feeling like a fog has lifted.
Oh.
Yes.
Why? In particular.
Oh gosh. It's been about 5 weeks since Ben had his surgery.
Man, time flies. It still feels like
it didn't feel like they flew by. The weeks flew by, but
not for you. Sorry.
Yeah, not for me.
For me.
Woo, I'm just glad. I'm glad it's October. I'm glad Ben has been more mobile.
Yeah.
The last
still
week.
Not fully functional.
Not fully functional. He's still doing PT.
Okay. Does he have a cast of some sort?
He wears a brace still.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can take the brace off today.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been like a real journey. Like I feel like we came out of the fire. But I feel like some of the burden has lifted. Oh, I did not handle it well.
I was about to say, you handled that with such grace, Jane.
No.
I love that. You're like, no, fact check. No, I did not.
No. But I will say I'm feeling a lot better. Like I exhaled finally because things are steadily returning back to normal. We went back to therapy. We couldn't go to therapy for a really long, we haven't gone since the summer. Beginning of summer, because summer was so busy and we were traveling, so we put a pause on it. But then we didn't start back up in September because the therapist's office is at the top of like stairs. And it's not, the building is not like ADA compliant apparently, but there's no elevator there. So we literally could not
go
access it. Yeah. And we really needed to, because I felt like we had so many things we needed to work out during that recovery period.
Yeah.
Because for me, like the default parent, like the person who stays home and, does most of the domestic stuff, like it was just, I just felt very, very overloaded. And, but we went back to therapy this week and we were able to I was able to release some of that. And
I see. Well,
yeah,
it was World Mental Health Day not too long ago.
Yeah, just the other day.
Are you comfortable sharing what did you guys, did you learn anything new in that session?
No. It just reinforced, reinforced, the same things that we need to work on. And I have a very hard time communicating my needs. Because I just get to a point of anger. And I feel that I either react in anger or it's business as usual. Because and when I do business as usual, I feel like that's like such a good thing. Like I feel like that's, like I pat on my back. And he doesn't recognize it, but I recognize it because I'm like, normally this would trigger me, but today I'm letting it go.
Wow.
But it's not really, right? Because whenever I reach that point of I'm going to lose my lid, then all of that bubbles over. And it's I remember this time. I think it would help to take a beat and pause and practice explaining to him. Like, I don't know if these would be the exact words. See, like I have never practiced this.
What?
So I have a hard time even explaining
practice with me. I'm Ben.
No, I think it would be something along the lines of, normally this would bug me, but I'm okay because
I'm managing
blah, blah, blah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want acknowledgement.
I want acknowledgement that I'm working through it real time and
there's effort.
Yeah. And I want to be able to say like, okay, when this happens, I have this false narrative in my mind, but I know that's a lie. So, I'm working through that, and I know that I'm actually not alone in this, and I know that you want to do more, but you're physically unable to. And so I'm choosing to just do as much as I can and let the rest go. Like I wish I could say that. But in the moment, I'm not saying that. I'm just processing it internally. And a lot of times it's happening when Ben's physically not there.
Yeah.
Right? It's happening when I'm at home with the kids and I'm noticing, oh my God, like the laundry needs to be done. If I don't do that, then I will have like 4 loads tomorrow. And
would it help you if Ben was like, hey, I noticed that you've done this and that. Oh my gosh, you've done so much. I just want to let you know I appreciate you.
I'm sure it would, but
Because
we're not explicit in that sense. You know, it takes a lot of. It's not. I've asked myself and wondered, why is this so difficult to do? And it's because we're just not. We don't practice explicitly stating things like that.
I think you don't. You need to. Okay.
You have to practice the observation,
Practice
and
the
verbalizing.
acknowledgement.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be. To me, observation is acknowledlement.
You know what I do?
If I know that you observed it, that's acknowledgement enough.
You know what I do?
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sitting at home all day when Adonis is going off and da-da-da, and it seems like, so for me, I don't do shit. And the house is like a disaster right now, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And I feel so bad. So Adonis will get home like, okay, don't judge me.
Yeah.
It is filth here. I'm trying to get there, but I also was doing a lot of content making and all this. And he goes, hey, I know.
Yeah.
You're working too.
Yeah.
You're a full-time content creator now. Don't worry about it. I'm like, but doesn't it drive you nuts? And he's like, yes, but I'm leaving soon. I mean, we
That's
acknowledge
so healthy.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I think the problem is that I don't acknowledge it.
Acknowledge what part?
Like if something has gone unnoticed or undone,
yeah,
I don't let myself be okay with that because I think it's not done. Therefore, I'm a slob. Like I'm letting things go, and I have to feel this way
you mean your
because
judgment of yourself,
of myself.
Wow,
I think that's where it starts. And
yeah.
That's why I say I didn't learn anything new because so much of, giving compassion and empathy to my partner or my kids comes from the fact I don't give it to myself. And I wish I could tell you, like Ben being down for the count for the last month has really made me let go. I didn't let go of anything.
Wow.
I was like more. I was like
more high strung.
Yeah, because I was like,
now you have to.
Things
pull
will
the
really.
weight of,
I was like, things
people.
will really get out of hand. So I need to control what I can. So I just exhausted myself because I was like, I need to, get the laundry done in like 2 days max. Like we never get it done in 2 days. It's always like over a period of 3 or 4 days, but for whatever reason, because he was unable to assist me, that made me more neurotic about doing things my way.
Right.
To my standard.
You know why? Because you felt like it's up to me now.
It's up to me.
It's really solely up to me because you took that burden on because you're like, okay, can't be put on him.
Yeah. And then I think he wanted me to
relax,
check in on him, like let go and then check in on him. And for me, I was like, I had 0 left in me to do that because my attention went to what needs to physically get done because that's going to make me feel good and that's going to make me taken care of.
Ooh, that's so tough.
It was really tough.
Because if the house is a disaster, okay, you know what? I am living your alternate life.
Yeah.
I have let shit go. My house looks like we wouldn't know if someone robbed us because it looks like it's been like, and I do feel bad. I think there's no winning. Yeah. Like you have to find a balance, right? But I don't feel good about the situation. However, I also don't feel like I'm running on fumes.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I know, but then I still feel guilty. So it's not like I'm doing so great on the other end. But I did tell you, though, I used to be so critical of myself and really hard on myself. Like the simplest mistake that I would make, I would beat myself up over and over again. I remember telling you that. And on that front, I am so good now. When I make a mistake, I'm like, this is what you got to do, Jane. And it sounds dumb, and it did sound dumb to me. This is what my therapist told me. Like, you got to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
And I literally say to myself, Ellen, okay, you are not going to be at your deathbed thinking, how clean did you keep your house? I imagine that scene as like, I'm going to hope that my kids love me, that my husband and I are happy, were happy, have been happy, you know. Those are the memories that are going to stick out.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest, and I've told you this before, the biggest impact in my life, one of the biggest impact in my life, was seeing my father-in-law in his deathbed taking stock. And you can see this man go, I lived a good life. And being really cherished by his loved ones. And I was like, okay, when you're in that moment, you're not going to be, all the things you've done, you're not going to be thinking about, like, I ran a tight ship.
Yeah.
You're going to be thinking about, like, oh, like, those moments, you know, picking chestnuts with my kids, that was fun. You know, all that other stuff is going to blur out. And so that, I think actually witnessing my father-in-law go through that phase and seeing it in his eyes really made me change my perspective.
Yeah.
And now, like, I'm like, you know what? I mean, I do worry, though, because the house is such a disaster. I'm like, God, I hope my kids don't think this is normal. I don't want them to become slobs. And I worry that they might, because they're so like, no, this is how always our house looks. I do get, you know, I legit cannot clean my house. So I have gotten cleaners in and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad. However, we are just all fucking work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we are all in progress.
I mean, what did Ben say in that session? Did he have anything to add, or what he struggles with?
Yeah, I mean, I think he definitely struggled with the fact that he knew that the burden was on me, and he wanted to do more, but he physically could not.
And he also wanted
neither of us were saying those things to each other. I think we were both kind of like, why doesn't she acknowledge this? And I was like, why doesn't he acknowledge this type of thing? And
you know why? Because you're both Korean.
Lives.
I know. That's the exact. You know what? Whenever there's like in Korean drama, when there's a peak, it's because the main characters are not talking to each other.
And this is why we enjoyed watching Queen of Tears so much, because to the outside viewer, it is clear that they love and respect each other. Yeah. But they cannot communicate with and to each other.
The 자존심, man.
Yes.
The pride,
both of
the ego.
us have really big, we have a lot of pride, both of us. And then I think both of us have a really hard time being vulnerable. Me especially.
I think more you.
Yeah, more me. I think that comes from being like having to be the reliable one, the dependable one, the person who gets things done, the person nobody ever has to worry about. That's me. Yeah. That's me. And I've truly internalized that, embodied that. Even as I'm doing things, I will say these lies to myself like, well, no one can do it. But you can, Jane. Wow. I say those things to myself.
Okay,
and
you have to retrain your inner voice.
I know. My inner voice in that is so strong. So sitting on that couch in the therapist's office, it's really hard and uncomfortable for me to be introspective. Wow. And I was simultaneously looking forward to going back and also dreading it.
Really?
I'm like, I want to do this work. It feels like work. It feels like going to the gym.
Wow.
You know?
Have you seen those TikTok couple therapy videos?
No.
There's this, oh my God, I gotta send you. There's this lady and she has these angry eyebrows, but she's like the most intuitive therapist. I feel she's just sitting there like, taking it, and she always knows when to interject or when to just sit back and listen.
Yeah.
You haven't seen those, huh?
No.
I gotta send
okay,
you
send
those.
send it to me.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, I mean, it was good to go back and just kind of, reset a little bit.
Which reminds me, Daily Dose of Sunshine.
The Korean drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a drama that was based on the idea that there's a nurse working at a mental health facility, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you just talked about reminded me of that first episode of that lady who was trying so hard to be everything that her mother wanted her to be.
Oh, and yeah.
What? Oh, and then
I remember this lady. Yeah. She lost it. She
finally was like, all this is too much.
Yeah.
And she just had to go through that, like, let me strip myself of everything, like, literally.
Yeah, so she literally stripped herself and, like, let her pride go.
But yeah, that show hit on I was actually impressed. Because, so often we see shows, we didn't particularly love Attorney Woo.
No.
Because it kind of made it almost like a caricature.
Yeah.
But I thought Daily Dose of Sunshine, the way they it still has that, like, element of oversimplifying just because it is a TV show. And how can you fit, all the, the shades of mental illness.
Sure.
But I thought
it was able to kind of embrace the messy.
Yeah. And the idea that, like,
nobody is quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
Or beyond needing therapy and help and support. I thought for Korean drama, it touched on all those themes well. Because we don't, as a people, as a culture, we don't put a lot of value to mental health.
And I thought it was kind of honest in the way they stigmatize it too in the show, like,
right,
when they discover that the nurse herself had checked into a mental facility, they're like, oh, well, then you are not capable.
That left the biggest
diseased.
Impression on me.
And I think
part.
The way they acted actually was a very factual portrayal of how people act towards
something's
mental.
wrong with you.
Like, oh my gosh, get it together.
You're unfit.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's this whole, like, you have to figure it out. Do something about it. Like, it's in you to fix it yourself. So I thought it was I was going to ask you how you felt about that mom who could not, like, she just seems so stubborn at first, but the reason she wanted her daughter to do less than what she's capable on this, like, I don't know what it was like a abilities test.
Oh, that mom.
And it was because she actually wanted to put her in a school where she thought her daughter would be a better fit. And it was like the first time where I felt like she felt more humanized because all throughout the show, she's kind of this, like, like, stubborn woman that's just angry at the nurse and angry at everybody.
Right. Yeah.
Did you feel like I can empathize with that, or did you feel like, or what do you even remember that character? It's been a while since we watched the show.
I remember vaguely. This is the patient who wanted to go become a pilot.
Yeah, the daughter did. Yeah. And then the mom was having a hard time because she was getting bullied. Like, nobody, you're not capable. Because you'd have to pass a certain test, and there's no way she was fit to be able to do that.
Yeah. I have a hard time with a lot of the mom characters in Korean dramas.
Yeah.
Because
they're kind of the worst.
They are.
Even the good moms are the worst.
They are. Yeah, it's hard. I have a hard time watching moms who hang everything on the child.
It goes back to how you're trying not to do that for your own children.
Yeah, and especially I just cannot do. I haven't met a mom I like on a Korean drama. If I'm being completely honest.
Wait. What about Reply 1988?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that might be the exception.
Which mom did you like?
I like all the moms in that one.
Yeah, that was.
I do like all the moms in that one.
That is why we're called
Yeah,
Yeochin.
but it's because it was very three-dimensional. I think those moms are portrayed as wives, as friends, as daughters.
That's true.
Yeah, so in dramas where it's very one-dimensional, and she was
pretty
one-dimensional.
Yeah,
I understand the sentiment of just wanting the best for your child. I think they did a good job of portraying, like, showing the full picture. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about being in that kind of position though? Like, where what if like your child comes to you and they want to do something, but you're like, well,
all the time. I have a child who has special needs.
Yeah.
Right. And Ruby will say, she has said for a few years now she wants to be an eye doctor.
Oh.
When she grows up.
Yeah.
And we'll just say, like, we'll just listen to it. I'm like, oh, really?
You know what? That's actually impressive, though. Like, my children are like, I don't know. Why an eye doctor?
I don't know, but her the very first doctor she had ever seen besides pediatrician is an eye doctor.
Oh,
because she has like an eye condition.
Needs.
Yeah. And I think her experience has been good, with all the doctors she's, seen. And, but realistically, we're like, that's a very grueling road.
Yeah.
And, I think I definitely want to encourage them in whatever they want to pursue, but also help them identify what it is that you could be good at and enjoy, So I have a lot of conversations with them. I say, hey, you could, mommy used to be a reporter because that's what I used to want to do, but I don't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
And Bennett will be like, oh yeah, now you do TikTok. Now you stay home and watch your phone all day.
Oh my God,
like, yeah.
These children.
I'm like, I said, what, you don't, it doesn't have to be one thing that you have to know right now.
Jane. Yeah. I got to remind my kids that too.
Multiple things, and you can do, and then Ruby's like, yeah, I think I want to be an artist. Maybe that might be easier than an eye doctor. I'm like, okay. She's like, because I like that. I'm like, you do enjoy. You are very creative, and you do enjoy making art. I was like, that's a good option.
I love that you're.
So it's just like, God, but like I feel like I can be that way because I'm not surrounded by this uber competitiveness that I might be had we been living somewhere else, like Southern California, Orange County.
I don't know what it is about you, Jane. When okay, you know what? I do think I thought you were a certain way because you're very, like I said, to me, you look like what every Korean parents dreamed of in a daughter. And so with that, I thought it would come that you would be one of those Korean moms that would be hard on their children, riding their ass about like, well, you need to get, A minuses aren't good enough. You have to get A pluses, right?
Yeah.
But then you told me you're not like that, and I was like, okay, let me just see. And time again, you are not like that. You are so practical and encouraging, and you're not like, and I'm shocked by it.
I am hard on them in other ways.
Right,
sure.
in the ways that like you have to be responsible, you have to manage your expectations, those kind of like real life tools. But in terms of like pushing on, Korean, like the suicide rate for children are high in Korea because we are so built in our system that academia is like the way to go.
Right. I think it's because of my own trajectory. I'm like, I grew up with that rhetoric, but look at me now.
I know, as a woman, like, that's how I feel
I'm content.
too.
Like I'm okay. Like I don't at all think, oh, I've arrived or I'm done, right? But I also don't have like this crazy ambition where like I want to do this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
You know?
You do not.
No.
And it's so I mean, I know you do not.
Yeah.
And I'm still impressed that you do not. Because every time I look at you, you look like an ambitious person.
Yeah.
Like someone who has it together. because you present yourself so well.
I was like hard on the kids this morning though, you know? Like I'm getting ready. I'm like, guys, we need to leave at 9:15. So you need to start getting all your stuff
Okay,
by
that's
the door.
just normal.
Well, yeah, but I think too often I put on them this incredible pressure not to trigger me. And it has to do with mess. It has to do with noise. It has to do with fighting and arguing. It's things like that. And sometimes I take a step back and think, what is going to be their understanding of their childhood experience?
Yeah.
In our house, you know, I think about that, and I'm like, I feel like for some kids it might be academics, and some kids it might be like extracurricular activities, and my kids is going to be like, I don't know, behavior, emotions. I don't know. Like I feel it's something that I have to work on. I'm so emotionally stunted, and I feel already my kids. I'm seeing signs of that in my kids.
Jane, the fact of the matter is, no matter what we do, our kids are going to need therapy.
They're going to have, yeah, right. Yes.
I mean,
and,
you know what?
I think that's not a knock on us,
yeah,
right?
No, because everybody should be getting therapy.
Everybody.
And we need to destigmatize this idea
No
that you only get therapy if something's wrong.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are kids, you know, sure, once they start having like meaningful friendships and other outside influences, until then, and we've talked about this before, we're their biggest influence, and that's scary.
I know,
and that's a lot of pressure. So I like that mindset of, you know what, we do our best, we make mistakes, we're not going to be perfect, we're not going to be near perfect, we might be like a notch better than our parents, but they're going to enter the world, and they're going to need to do their own work for the rest of their lives.
You know what reminded me? Remember how you used to say, like, you notice, you're very aware of, like, you don't want your kids to, like, 눈치 봐 around you. Like, yeah, right? That's
like walk on eggshells around me?
Yeah, that's what's happening to my kids. I feel like I'm not doing it. So I try to not yell, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really practicing, but they picked on that I've adapted to not yelling and doing this other thing. So like Sawyer this morning was like, butter toast. I asked for peanut butter, right? And then I was like, okay. And he goes, that's okay though, Mom. I'll just eat the peanut butter or butter, whatever, you know? I'm like, it
doesn't matter what it is. They
pick up on it.
They do.
But I'm not yelling.
I know.
I'm like, I'm changing my ways.
I know.
And then I was like, hey, it's okay. Just I got it wrong. That happens sometimes. Just let me know what you want. But it's almost like they've gotten more scared now that I'm not yelling.
Yes.
They're more like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Part of that is developmental. I think they're just, pick up.
But also that's picking up on social cues is normal.
I know. Yes, that is normal. You want them to pick up on social cues.
You want them to and it's good that they care, right?
Yeah. I know.
But you feel no matter what you do as a mom,
telling you
don't feel like you're doing it right, and you feel like you're gonna get it wrong. And you know what? I have met mothers who think they're the fucking best. Have you ever heard mothers that be like, well, I do it all and I'm doing it well? Have you ever heard moms who talk like that?
Sheesh, must be nice. No, I've never met.
Yeah, but I think those are the worst moms. And I do think that they know they're lying to themselves a bit when they say it out loud like that.
I feel like those people are the same people who in the workplace would be like, they'd never fire me.
Yeah. Like,
because I would never say that. I have never thought that nor said that about myself. Like, that is clearly delusional.
Right. Like, that is such but they don't live with the internal struggle we live with.
Yeah, so are they freer? Are they more liberated than we are?
I think they have to say like, that's like my mother, stepmom.
Uh-huh.
She'd always be like, I know everything.
Your stepmom probably was like, I'm doing so well as a mom.
Like, oh, I remember, I don't know if I told you this. It was so vivid. I was like, so there was something she did that she blamed all of us for, including my dad. We were driving and like, you all forgot this thing, right? Yeah. And then somehow, as we were talking, we came to the revelation, all three of us, it was her fault. Uh-huh. She forgot the thing. She was the last person holding it. Yeah. And it was like, and then there was a silence. Uh-huh. And then she outright said, I don't want to hear anything. Uh-huh. Yeah. We're not gonna, she literally was like, we're not gonna talk about it. Yeah. I don't want to hear it. And then my dad was like, so, like, he was just, he wanted to say it so bad. He was like, he goes, no. She shut it down. She would not let, she knew that we all knew. Yeah. She was trying to, like, find the culprit, pin it on somebody because she wanted to blame someone. And in real time, we all were like, wait a minute, wasn't it you that was holding that thing that you wanted to bring and then you forgot? And she just sat there and was like, I don't want to hear it. And I was like, wow, you know, it's the idea that you just cannot let yourself take the hit. Like, I will not allow that. Yeah. I cannot be wrong. Yeah. She lived a life simplified like that. And, you know, she's had so many ailments, but whenever we go to the doctor, like, they're like, we don't know what's wrong with her because she seems fine. I think, like, 오기로 살아. Like, just pure, like, she's been living as long as she has with just that toxicity of, like, I'm right. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. But
she probably has her own, you know, mental
oh yeah. My brother finally told me that she actually asked for help. Which was, I was like, wow. She told him one day, I know it's not normal to be up at night not sleeping because I'm mad. Like, she's it's not funny. No. I mean, just the thought of this woman that tortured me so much, like, sitting there just raging so hard in the middle of the night and not knowing what was making her angry. That even she was confused by it. And finally, like, accepted, like, I think I need help. Yeah. That blows my mind. Yeah. Because no matter how you want to deny it, it will catch up with you. And so in that regard, we are light years ahead because we're fully acknowledging what our issues are all the time.
All the time. Yeah. Yeah.
So at least we are breaking the cycle. We talk about it. Yeah. We express it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Why do you not sound more confident?
Because some days I'm like, man, I just, like, am I ever going to get better?
You know what? You know what, Jane? And I asked myself that exact question. There is no better. There is just now. And that's truly what, you know, I used to get really frustrated with the concept of, like, just be present. There is no better. It's just this. Yeah. Yeah. And I just recently learned that Al Pacino had I don't know, like, I read an article where he had a near-death experience. And he legit, I think, was declared, like, that dead, and then he came back to life. And in his interview, he was saying, you know, there's no lights, there's no, like, that feeling of being in between places. There's none of that. There's just nothing.
Terrifying.
There's just nothing.
So what did he? What was
Jane
it? What
is,
did he
like,
take
crawling-
away from that?
There's just this.
Okay, there's just this. So
There's
there's
just this. So
nothing
all
better.
we
There's
have
just now.
is
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
And this idea that there's somewhere to get to, or
Yeah.
somewhere that you're getting to. Anything that we
Mhm.
strive, there's just this.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, it's a really, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got it. And then I'm like, wait, but I still have to plan tomorrow.
totally.
Yeah.
It's yeah, but I think that's something that I'm coming to embrace more.
Yeah.
Is that this is the here and now is the only thing that we can see and
Yeah.
feel, and it's tangible.
Yeah.
Right. And then so there's only here, and then like what we learn from past experiences.
And this idea that, I will say, I always thought, like, oh, am I going to is my mind ever going to stop racing? Am I going to stop torturing myself? Because I feel like I put myself through the ringer
Mhm.
in all these shoulda, woulda, couldas
Mhm.
and whatnot. And I think it came with age. That way my brain operates has slowed down. And I think I've actively worked on it to say, like, Ellen, this is not the end of the world.
Mhm.
Ellen, everybody's late. Ellen, like, you're human.
Mhm.
You are flawed.
Mhm.
You're not a machine.
Yeah.
You're going to fuck up,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Yeah.
And I do talk to myself so much, and it takes redundancy
Mhm.
and practice
Mhm.
to really drill it. That thing you say you have in your head,
Mhm.
Jane, you got to turn that around. You got to
I know.
soften that voice.
I know.
Because you're way, like, that inner voice.
Yeah, it is so
working you
Oh,
hard.
totally. It's like the moment I do something that is not good, right? Like not a proud parenting moment.
Yeah. And in that moment, what
The-
does your brain tell you?
You suck. Like you're a terrible mom. Like you are ruining the kids.
Okay. And then when you have that feeling, you need to be saying, you know what? I care.
Mm-hmm.
I am reacting this way because
Yeah.
I care. And I'm going to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
I am someone that will never stop trying.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know that about yourself. That is
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of times I forget, like you can redeem the moment,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
that doesn't have to be the lasting impression
No.
of the kids. Like you can step outside and, turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even if you don't, Jane,
Yeah.
you have put in so much love already that they are on solid ground
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they know you.
Yeah. Did I tell this story? I don't remember. My mom said one time, she said one of the biggest impressions that she had about her own parenting was watching me play with my dolls.
Mm-hmm.
And she said I was scolding or spanking the doll. And then she said very shortly after, I was petting the doll and saying, oh, I'm sorry. It's because I love you. 엄마가 사랑해서 그러는 거야.
Oh, no. Wow.
I think about that.
Wow.
I think about my mom telling me like that was a revelation for her. And that was like a moment for her to say like,
did that make her heart
what
ache?
message? Yeah. Like what message am I saying? And then when I go to my kids to like try to fix it or try to make them feel better or, I feel how my mom felt. And I'm already like preemptively wondering like, oh my God, like, am I,
oh my God,
am I the person that's hurting them, like hurting their feelings and then trying to like put salve on it,
No,
and I think to a certain point, like that's how
do.
It is. Like we all do that to a certain
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
Right? We hurt each other and then we make it up to them.
Yeah. I mean, there's moments like that. And I say, you know what? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Mom is tight on time.
Yeah.
I'm stressed about being late.
Yeah.
It's not what you said, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushed for time. So
Yeah.
I reacted in that way.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, I need you to know I'm sorry. And I will try to do better. And I won't. But
yeah.
parenting is so fucking tough.
So hard.
You know, like I sometimes wish we lived
hard.
back in that black and white world the way my parents did it and be like, fuck you, little kid.
I know my friends with kids who are toddlers or younger will ask me often, like, does it get easier? Do you like this stage? And I'll say, I love this stage and it is a lot easier. But in some regards.
Yeah.
It's easier in the fact that you're not having to physically like trail after them and they're a little bit more.
Do you not miss the baby face? Oh, no,
I do miss the baby. I do miss some of the baby face, but I like this stage a lot better. But it is also harder because they have more understanding. Yeah. And they're now judging
they have
you.
Their own opinions.
They're judging you. Yeah. They're forming they're forming narratives in their minds.
They're judging us so hard.
They're judging us so hard. So hard. Like I was having a discussion with Ben today. You don't think they're paying attention, but they're always paying attention. Yeah. I was having a discussion with Ben today. I'm like, oh, I had to drop the kids don't have school today. So I had to drop them off at Ben's office before I came here. Yeah. But I'm packing their lunches. And Ben's like, no, don't pack them lunch. Like I'll feed them. And I was like, no. No, like, how are you going to feed them? When are you going to feed them? He's like, I'll feed them.
He offered to help and you didn't take it.
I was already in the process. This is, and this is the thing is like, I already have this is what I do. You
have a plan.
I have a plan.
And you have to execute your plan.
Because I make the plan. And yeah, my problem is I don't talk to him about it. I just do it on my own. So anyways, like he's trying to like take a burden off of me. And I'm like, no, I'm already doing it. This will be easier for you. This will be easy. And he's like, no, it'll be... We find, I was like, fine, they can, I'm going to pack it because I'm already packing it. They can eat it whenever. If you guys go out to lunch, you guys can do that. And then Ruby's like, you guys almost got into a fight. And it's like, we did not. It was just, it was not a fight, but their understanding is.
Wow. Ruby's like, I saw what I saw. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Jane, that is the thing you have to practice. When he's offering help, just take it, even though it wasn't according to your plan.
I know. I would have, but I was already doing it.
See how you can't let it,
I know. Okay, next time
you
catch
just
myself
abandon,
in this,
set
I will
aside
abandon.
your plan.
I will abandon.
You're like, you go like this, Jane. You lift your fingers up. You do.
Loosen my
the
tight
grip, Jane.
I know. It's hard.
Oh, man. Yeah. You are a very structured person. The world makes sense to you in that way.
Yeah. I think half the battle is like, yes, I do need to let go. But like, if I let go, nobody's going to do it like how I do it. And that's the point. That's the point, right? And the point is, no, they won't. No, and I know exactly. It'll be okay.
If you allow it, it's gonna be harder on you later because it didn't go.
That's a fear too.
Yeah, and you planned out a route that's, that already looked out for all those hindrances, and this is a straight shot that I made.
Yeah, most of the planning is just like. I'm just so practiced in it because it's what I've always done to self-preserve. I plan for, I'm always thanking, thank you past self for doing this for present self. I do that. I'll say that often.
Wow.
I'll be like, I'll think I had nothing to like make for dinner, right? And then I'll open the freezer and I see like
have the
broth.
Meals.
I'll have like broth like frozen, and I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you, past Jane. And like I'll make dinner in 30 minutes.
Even the way you're positive is rewarding your. Even the way
very bad
is rewarding the behavior you're trying
it's
to
reinforcing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the danger because it's like, see, See what I did there?
This is how I do it. And look at how life smooths out.
I know. That's bad. It's bad. It's not good.
No. I mean, you just have to, one finger at a time. Yeah. You gotta just kick off.
And then I go down the rabbit hole of seeing people who, like content creators who do like meal prepping. Ugh. And that's like, I'll save, because that's what I aspire to. There's no end. When I talk about how I don't have like career professional ambition, but I think I do have like, an unlimited ambition to just be a better doer.
Like keep a tight running ship.
Yeah. You have.
Do you think it's possibly because you didn't focus on the career path that you're very like, I didn't do the career path, so I'm going to run a tight running ship at home. I think that's part of it.
Yeah. I think that's part of it is like, okay, I let that go, or like I shifted. So then here is where I have to
take
be
control.
The best. Yeah. Because I did have that mindset when I was working. I did have that mindset,
I wonder if it's almost like, not in a negative way, but in a way like you're justifying, like, or kind of punishing yourself. Like you didn't do that path. You took all the steps to go to that path, and then you didn't carry on that way. But now if you're going to be here, you got to do it the very best.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can see that. But nobody's judging me. Like, I'm the only person judging myself.
You're the only one. I'm trying to talk to your judge. You.
Yeah.
You're already doing so great, Jane. I wonder if you think, not out loud, but subconsciously there's a part of you that thinks, if I chose this path of being a stay-at-home mom, or even though you fully work, Jane, already, like, then I'm going to have to be outstanding in this arena.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Because you had so many skills to go this other way, like to prove... And it's weird because it's not to anyone.
I know. Yeah. And then, when it is hard or when things don't go my way, then I'm like, why is this hard? Yeah. I thought this was easy.
Yeah.
And then it's like another blow to the pride, Yeah, but...
Do you promise me to work on your inner talk?
Yes. Okay. Yes, that's one thing I can do.
It does work, Jane.
Okay.
To practice it. And so when that voice goes, Jane, why did you fuck this up? Or why didn't you do this? You have to say, I did. You still did good, Jane.
Do you remember, maybe it was like, maybe you were a little too, it was like too immature for you, but I used to watch Lizzie McGuire. On Disney Channel.
Yeah,
she has like a very strong inner voice.
Yeah.
And it's like a little cartoon
character.
I
didn't know that.
Yeah, it always like pops up. And I have that.
Okay.
But it's like, it's like my worst, my harshest critic is that voice.
So the next time we talk, you're going to tell me where you shut it down.
Okay.
And told that bitch, hey, there's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
And Jane is fine as she's doing.
Yeah.
We're going to do it, Jane.
I can do that.
Because you're my Yeochin. That's it. Woo!